On occasion, the Onslow Historical Society is lucky enough to be donated historical and valuable items. This is a 1900 Ericsson phone. It arrived in a slightly dismantled order and needed a service and a clean. You can see here that when it was dismantled, the pin moved out of place and wouldn't allow the receiver base to go back in place. With a bit of adjustment and a clean and oil, it soon returned to good working order. You can see it goes up and down. As you remove the handset, the spring pushed it up, opened the points and connected you to the operator. There is no dialing mechanism on this phone. The base unit is very heavy, and I suspect people have been picking the phone up with the top, causing it to come off the base unit. These are the 4 wires that bring the phone line into the machine. Before dismantling them, removing them from the base, make sure you know and write down or photograph the color codings so you know how to put it back together again. The top plate assembly is held to the cast iron base with 4 screws. These are removed, cleaned and put aside, waiting reassembly. As you go through the video, you'll see how well this phone is made. There's a lot of work and effort gone into it, and you must have been quite lucky to have one of these in the day, because it certainly would have been one of the first homes to go into domestic use. The 2 wires at the back are removed. These are the wires that connect the bell drive coils to the rest of the machine. Of course, you put all the little screws away in a jar somewhere safe so you don't lose them, because it's only too easy to lose little screws like that. The whole top assembly comes off, and you can see underneath how well this machine is made. It's not quite as simple as it looks on top. One of the screws that holds the top assembly is broken. It's under the spring lever, so you have to remove the lever to get at the spring, to get at the screw. There's a little wire on the left hand side one, and I had to be careful to slide it back under the spring so I could remove the base plate without damaging it. You can now see where the broken spring is. These screws that came out of the machine were Phillips screws. I realised later that they probably weren't the right ones, and that probably someone had been in there before me, because these machines, these phones were stopped production in about 1930, from what I can gather. Phillips screws only came into existence in about 1933. And I did have to go through the whole box to find 2 that would fit, and 2 that were the same as the 2 that came out. So I am replacing like with like, even if like for like is probably wrong. There's 2 tabs that line up with the 2 spaces on top of the machine. I don't actually know what the button in front, in the middle there, does. If you know what it does, do let me know in the comments below. Once it's reassembled, the whole assembly is simply, the 3 screws are simply screwed back into the top plate. While the top assembly was off, I gave it a clean. This is my favourite old metal cleaning cloth. It's been used for cleaning all sorts of things, so it does a very good job, even if it does look a bit second-hand. Once again, don't rub too hard. You only want to clean the surface up a little bit without taking the plating or the genuine original surface off the product. Now that it's all cleaned, it can be reassembled. Once again, the top fits on and is held in place with just the 4 screws on top. I cleaned the terminals and then replaced the 4 wires in the same position as they came off the machine. Underneath the machine there's 2 bells that sound very nice and look very nice too. These were quite dusty, dirty, and hadn't been polished for a long time. Originally they would have been very shiny, because you can see right in the center under the cap how shiny they were. But we're here just to preserve the machine, not to restore it at this stage. This machine, now it's finished, will go on display at the Onslow Historical Society base in Khandallah. Once again, my trusty old polishing rag does the job quickly, easily, and without too much damage to the surface. You don't want to over polish things, especially with some of these early machines. They had nickel plate on them and it's easy to go through the nickel. With the 2 bells cleaned and polished, we can stand the machine up again. The wires are reconnected and ready to go. Remember, if you have enjoyed this video, please tick like. It does help the ratings. Thank you very much. The 2 small screws that we saved in the glass jar are now reattached. We come to the more delicate part of the machine, and probably the bit that does the most hard work. The handle I cleaned with a little bit of soap and water and a toothbrush, then washed it down, wiped it and dried it as quickly as possible. The surface of the silver here is quite badly damaged. It is quite corroded, and I wanted to get the surface corrosion off, so I used a little bit of polish. Once again, same old trusty rag, bit of polish, and just a light touch with a hand. No, don't use any machinery, any buffing machines on this, because it'll just ruin the surface. But just a light polish will take the dirt and corrosion off the surface, giving you quite a nice looking product. I wiped this all down with a damp cloth before, and with a toothbrush I cleaned up some of the little edges before giving the main area a gentle polish. It came back quite well. The finished product looked very nice. Remember, this was made over 100 years ago. 1800s, 1900, I think they finally went out of production in about 1930. I hope you've enjoyed this short preservation video. If you have, tick like, tick subscribe. More videos coming along very soon. And if you do want to join the Onslow Historical Society, we're on both Facebook and the internet. Do get hold of us and come along to Kate. Thank you for watching.